Well, that's because you have an inquisitive mind that connects dots in unsuspecting places. Otherwise, you wouldn't have clicked this video. I will get to why the death of winking is linked to the Industrial Revolution. Don't rush, it's a big idea that has to be eased in. You don't walk up to a girl you like and say, let's have sex. Same thing with this, okay? The best way to get to the bottom of a matter like this is to go out into the world and speak to actual members of society, and that's exactly what I did. And please note that the mic didn't capture the audio for the interview with these two girls, so please forgive me if it doesn't sound as good as the rest of the video. Thank you.
What would make it okay for me to wink at you and for it to be appropriate right now?
My mom's still overseas, so like
if you were telling a joke and you're like ha 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 ha. Yeah.
Do you think there's anything awkward about winking at people?
In what situation?
Like, just winking at someone you know, like the act of winking itself, do you think it's awkward?
No, I don't think it is. If you can't wink, then it might be awkward.
Do you think winking at someone is inherently awkward?
Yes.
Inherently, just as an action?
Yes.
So there's no situations where you can wink at someone and for it to be like, okay.
I feel like winking at someone you don't know is awkward, yeah. Because like, you don't have that type of relationship with them, so why wink at them? I feel like you should wink at someone that you personally know. So yeah, it would be weird, yeah.
So winking is a highly consensual behavior, meaning in order for it to land, the conditions need to be perfect and you need to possess the charisma to pull it off without making things weird and awkward. It's a very charming expression, and witnessing someone trying to be charming when they aren't isn't very flattering.
I think in order for you to pull up winking, you need to be charismatic.
True. Like if there's a random man at me, I'll be a little bit
get a new one.
But like, let's say like this random man, for example, you had like a parking lot or something, and somebody backs up their car, and then the guys' cars, they almost touch each other, and then to de-escalate, he kind of like, you know, does a playful wink. And
No.
would you perceive that as what a pervert, or would you like?
I don't think so. Would you?
You would.
If it was a girl and I don't know and she winked at me, I think that's fine. But if it's a guy that's winking at me and I don't know him, then
Let's say I bump you, and then it's like, and I'm like trying to de-escalate, I'm like, oh sorry boy, then I wink at you a little bit. How would you take that?
I would think something's off, really. Well, why are you winking at me?
So winking has become sexual, guys. I think that's the thing.
No facts, yeah.
Because I've even noticed that even when I'm texting a girl, like sometimes when I want to do that risky text, you know, you gotta cross that boundary, you know. And like sometimes I'll think of leaving a wink emoji, and I'm like,
No, exactly. It's become like a little. Yeah.
So would you say that's why people don't wink as often as they used to like 10 years ago today?
I think things have changed, times have changed. Winking is necessarily people would label as cringe.
Ah, yeah, exactly.
Is winking gay?
Yeah.
Depends who's doing it. If it's a male, certainly. If it's a female, it's a different story.
People seem to be very specific about who gets the privilege of being able to wink at them, almost as if the act is inherently rooted in crossing sacred boundaries. And since both men and women express this sentiments, the common sacred boundary in this situation has to be sexual. And I know it's sexual because men disproportionately do most of the winking in all given situations, and that has nothing to do with the fact that men are naturally just perverts or anything like that. So hold your horses. And this makes perfect sense because a wink is an overtly charismatic behavior designed to woo someone platonically or sexually. And women aren't overt charmers because they usually occupy the position of the ones being charmed. A wink is a direct expression out in the open for the receiver to digest, and women usually lean towards indirect expressions that the receiver may not even catch in many instances. In simple terms, the boundary for women is, don't wink at me, weird pervert. And the boundary for men is, you're making me uncomfortable, nigga. Shoot, back off before I think about fucking you up, maybe, potentially, depending on how far you want to go with this gay shit. The death of charisma. This is the moment the entire video was building up to. This might be the most go to the app I've ever put out onto the internet. We live in the weirdest, most unique time in human history. The outer world is noisy, complex, and above all interconnected. Cultural norms shift instantaneously because thanks to social media, we're constantly judging and observing each other. And in the digital world, the number one action that brings people together is shaming others. But that isn't surprising because the default human practice is to protect your public image, and putting others down down is one of the most efficient ways to validate the bubble you've created for yourself. Now everyone's hyper aware of the next man's gaze because we've grown used to a world where looking for something bad to say is a reflex. And it's become cool to be nonchalant because stepping outside the acceptable confines of expression puts you in the crosshairs of serial judges. Yet, we still crave the validation reserved for those who dare to step out, endure the noise, and wait for the rest of the world to catch up. This is what I call the capitalist virus. It's an epidemic characterized by wanting maximum gain through minimal safe input. Most of us carry this virus because the global system was built on two foundational pillars: an insatiable thirst for superiority and a desperate fight for survival. Ding ding ding, the Industrial Revolution, a time in which capitalism was established as a dominant economic order. Most innovations and ideologies born from the system, intentionally or unintentionally, contribute to conditions that cultivate these traits in people because they were crafted within a societal framework that assumes separation and hierarchy. Yes, it's normal to want to survive and belong to a higher social class, but the foundation of this system was laid by people possessed by the ugliest version of superiority, and as a result they created conditions that trapped the majority in survival mode, ensuring the gap between the elite and the poor remains infinite. Modern society is a dance between two extremes: diabolical greed, where the elite class makes selfish decisions at the expense of the powerless, and diabolical scarcity, where the powerless suffer severe consequences of the elite class's selfishness on all planes of existence. What we consume in the middle is a watered down blend of these two forces. The blend is a result of people performing their own iterations of what they believe pushes them higher on the spectrum out of fear of experiencing scarcity. I'll make an example. Take social media. It may have started with the intention of building a successful business by providing a genuinely useful innovation to the world. Nothing sinister, just trying to make it in life, but it was destined to become a toxic cesspool. We bring our baggage to the feed, comparing our private struggles to someone else's highlights. Then we start posting our own highlights and judging others while curating the facade. This creates a social order based on principles of struggle. No matter how glamorous you appear, you're still operating within the confines of survival. In case you didn't know, almost everyone's a businessman, but instead of monetary profit, you're dealing in validation profit margin. Social media allows you to feel like business is booming even when you've invested nothing of your actual self. You feel accomplished because of postcard likes, even though all you did was document a night out. You'll never risk unique expression because it won't win favor from the crowd, and you've been siphoned into a safe identity because real expression is too risky for business. The current state of everything, and I mean everything, was inevitable centuries ago, my guy. People don't wink anymore because spontaneous, non-calculated, genuine expression is bad for business. Being charismatic requires a willingness to let your guard down and go with the flow, an attitude modern society doesn't support.